Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video, to probably the last video of 2018. Obviously New Year's Eve, not the craziest crypto news day, but I do have a couple stories that I just want to take you through quickly. Let's start with the first one, and it's probably the biggest one of the day as well. Huobi Group to launch a one-of-a-kind exchange dedicated to EOS. The Huobi Group's cryptocurrency mining arm of Huobi Pool will launch its first exchange in the first quarter of 2019. The exchange will be one of a kind in that it will be fully dedicated to EOS. Now this obviously absolutely huge for the EOS ecosystem. Xiao Fei, I assume that is how it's pronounced, I could be completely off, Huobi Pool's CEO had this to say about their new venture. As an EOS supernode, Huobi Pool has placed its ecological development high on its list of priorities. Launching this EOS exchange is simply the next logical step in our support. So we see them here framing this as not a way primarily for them to launch a business, make money, but as a way of supporting the EOS ecosystem that they're involved in a variety of ways. According to the team at Huobi, the new exchange will allow users to trade EOS against several other cryptocurrencies. The plans to launch the exchange come after Huobi Pool's collaboration with the EOS community and EOS block producers to build an EOS test chain where EOS-based projects can be tested. This test chain is known as the Crypto Killin testnet. Huobi Pool has also developed a voting platform for the EOS community. It has also spearheaded efforts of making EOS holders more aware of node elections. So here we see a company that has already shown a lot of support for EOS and for the ecosystem by involving themselves in a variety of ways, a big, well-known company in the crypto space. Now being the very first to launch an entire exchange dedicated just to EOS. So EOS will be the base currency across this entire exchange. This is definitely going to be incredibly interesting. This is incredibly good for EOS, and just the kind of thing that EOS really needs. I mean, EOS has become more readily available in the last year or so, added to a lot of exchanges. But to my knowledge, it hasn't been used as the base currency anywhere yet. I might be off, but to my knowledge, EOS is not the base currency anywhere. This is now set to change, and the moment you have an exchange that uses you as the base currency, you are one of the big boys of crypto. That is big, that makes you so much more accessible. And of course, if that exchange gets any kind of real use, that will significantly increase how much movement there's happening with the EOS token, how much it is being used every single day, how much money is flowing through it. So this is absolutely wonderful. I hope to see more of this. This is very, very good for EOS. I think 2019 is going to be a good year for EOS. Let's take a moment, and this is an older article that I haven't really managed to squeeze into any of my videos yet because I've been sick. I'm still a bit sick. You might be able to hear it out of my voice. I had to restart this video. I had to start this video over because the first time I just got into a massive coughing fit. But this one from a couple days ago, more about blockchain than crypto, but obviously related because this tells us something about the kind of stances that security people and that government people take towards crypto. National security people. Andrew Bustamante, reportedly a former CEI intelligence officer, has claimed blockchain is super powerful stuff that represents a threat to America's national security. Bustamante, who specializes in publishing life hacks based on his knowledge of espionage, made his elliptical remarks in a subreddit thread on December 22nd. Bustamante is also reportedly a United States Air Force veteran and Fortune 10 corporate advisor. He brought up blockchain in response to a question in a subreddit thread on news aggregation site Reddit dedicated to Bustamante's everyday espionage, what he dubs an integrated education and training program that teaches international espionage tactics to benefit everyday life. One Redditor had asked Bustamante what he thought represents the biggest threat to American national security in the coming years, giving several leading possible answers such as Russia, climate change, Iran, or North Korea, to which Bustamante replied, "Blockchain technology, no joke, super powerful stuff, and the first one to figure out how to hack it, manipulate it, or bring it down wins." And this is pretty much as far as this news story goes because he didn't really clarify. Someone else brought up quantum computing, and he just responded, "Fair point, that might also be just as big." But he didn't specify how exactly he thinks blockchain technology is a threat to national security. But I think there are multiple valid readings of this, and this is important to keep in mind because governments have reason to be wary of blockchain. As much as there is immense potential in blockchain for a variety of applications, one of those applications is privacy. Excuse me. And that is how I would personally read this, because if you're thinking from a national security standpoint, then that of course also means things like terrorism prevention. And one of the biggest issues in terrorism prevention has been the inability to track terrorist movements and to hack their communications. A lot of terrorists nowadays are using fully encrypted messaging software where there's no way for governments to read along to get in there. And blockchain could represent a further evolution of that completely removes a centralization factor that might be a weakness. That is the number one way that I would legitimately read blockchain as a potential threat to national security of any country. Because there are certain potentials for anonymity and encryption there that we have not previously seen. And if you're looking from a national security standpoint, that is always scary. That means everyday people can be more secure with their data and their communications, and that is a good thing. But that can also mean people who you very much want to be able to track also can use these technologies. So I understand this perspective. I'm not so sure about him focusing on potential weaknesses, on hacking, manipulation, or destroying blockchain. I think those are ultimately lower tier problems as far as blockchain is concerned. But of course, we have seen blockchains manipulated. We have seen blockchains abused, and I don't think we've seen one completely brought down, but the potential is absolutely there. The potential with 51% attacks, the potential with just overloading a network with tiny transactions. A lot can be messed with there. Newer cryptocurrencies are becoming more capable of defending against those things, but there are potential weaknesses. I just don't necessarily see how those directly translate into being the biggest threat to American national security. So I'm assuming that he means at least partially the privacy and encryption possibilities there. But just a disclaimer, I have no idea who this guy is. I've never heard about him before this article. So if he's a nut job, I'm not endorsing the guy here. I'm just talking about this individual statement because I think this is representative of how a lot of national security people, a lot of government people around the world think about cryptocurrencies and think about blockchain. It is... Sorry, my throat is just very scratchy today, but I'm trying to get through this video. There is so much potential for democratization, for anonymity, for freedom in blockchain technology. But the flip side of that is that we live in a social contract. That is how society is arranged, where we are constantly trying to find the right trade-off between security and privacy. And you can never have both fully at the same time. And with cryptocurrency advancing, with blockchain advancing, unless governments decide to completely outlaw all this technology, or a massive breakthrough enables them to crack all of this, then we are probably going to see a future with a lot more potential privacy and a lot less potential security. And we all have to decide for ourselves if we think that is okay, where we think the line should be. There is no one correct or incorrect stance to take here. There are legitimate arguments to be made for the security side and for the privacy side, and I see both of them. I personally fall slightly more on the privacy side. I'm very worried about the kind of surveillance that some governments are implementing and further increasing all the time. I personally err more on the privacy side, but I also appreciate the role that that security brings to the world, obviously keeping us secure, and how some privacy might have to be lost to enable that. So I'm very much close towards the center, but more on the side of privacy here. I know some of you are all the way on the privacy side, and I respect that as well. I understand where you're coming from. It's just, there are different opinions here. There are valid arguments to be made for all sides of the spectrum. And a lot of government people, a lot of national security people, and a lot of security people in general, even if they're talking about cybersecurity, about companies being secure, are worried about blockchain. And that is an understandable worry. We have to figure out how realistic a problem and how large scale a problem it will be in the future. Excuse me, it's just getting worse. Okay, 2 more. I'm just going to get through them quickly. This one is good. Kraken adds Bitcoin Cash and XRP margin trading. Kraken has added Bitcoin Cash and Ripple XRP to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Augur, Monero, and Tether, bringing its margin trading offering to a total of 8 cryptocurrencies. Margin trading of all 8 will be available on all of Kraken's platforms. The latter side boasts an improved user interface and integrated charts and tools, as well as supporting mobile trading. I think a sentence is missing here, because there is no former and latter in the previous sentence. I think they wanted to go into more detail about the different platforms it offers. Kraken's news release adds, please note that Bitcoin Cash and XRP are not collateral currencies. This means you cannot open margin positions against the value of your Bitcoin Cash or XRP balances. Exchange users are advised to keep balances of collateral currencies while trading and to be careful when trading collateral currencies into Bitcoin Cash and XRP with margin positions open, as account equity will be reduced. So this, of course, margin trading is very much like a big boy trading tool. That is what a lot of high risk, high profit investors use. So making it possible with Bitcoin Cash and XRP is very good for both of these coins as far as making them more attractive for day traders and for very risky traders who are willing to take a big risk if they can make a lot of money for it. Most of your average day traders and your average crypto investors won't really need this, but this is the kind of thing that Wall Street expects. This is the kind of thing that people with a lot of money and a lot of experience trading expect. So it's very good to see Bitcoin Cash and XRP being added to this ever-growing list on Kraken. Kraken is one of the few platforms where margin trading with cryptos is even possible at all, and the more they add, the more attractive Kraken gets for that. And last but not least, let's talk about a relatively new stablecoin that is finally launching and its first integration. I believe this is its first integration, definitely one of its first integrations. Singapore crypto exchange Switch.io announced SDUSD stablecoin support. The Singapore crypto exchange Switch.io has announced over the holiday period that it now supports the Alchemist-launched SDUSD stablecoin. The dollar-pegged coin was created to hold the value of $1 and is locked to NEO. Switch.io exchange made the announcement that the NEO SDUSD pairing will be available on the platform from December 27th onward, as the stablecoin makes its debut across the crypto markets. Switch.io announced via a press release that Alchemist, I kept reading Alchemist, but it's Alchemist, sorry. Alchemist's smart contract-based SDUSD coin will debut on the Singapore crypto exchange and will be the first fiat-pegged pairing with NEO. One SDUSD will be stabilized with $1 through the collateralization of NEO smart contracts. They're saying this will be the first fiat-pegged pairing with NEO. It's debatable whether a stablecoin pairing is the same as a fiat pairing, but fiat-pegged is the correct terminology here. It's just a bit misleading because that makes it sound like it's the same as a fiat pairing, not quite. Switch.io's support of the SDUSD NEO pairing is available right away. Here's an extract from the statement. SDUSD will be open for deposits on December 27th, 11:30 a.m. and trading will commence on December 27th, 12 p.m. The Singapore-based crypto exchange is regarded as the first decentralized exchange to utilize the NEO blockchain, which allows you to trade both Ethereum and NEO. The exchange is looking to create a DEX network that offers cross-chain swapping features across a myriad of blockchain networks. Their main goal is to offer a trading experience that merges a world-class experience with trust and transparency on a decentralized platform. This very much sounds like a sponsored post, but I don't think it is. Well, it might be, they might not be disclosing it. But you can always tell from the marketing speak here. Like this is just ad copy. This is either a journalist who doesn't know how to filter this out, or this is sneakily paid for. Alchemist is known as a stabilization system for cryptocurrencies that utilizes NEO's public chain. The launch of its dollar-pegged SDUSD token was planned for earlier in December, however, due to numerous delays, their stablecoin was finally released during the holiday period. So this is interesting. This is obviously a completely decentralized exchange on the NEO network. We're seeing a lot of this cross-chain swapping really being a big thing that has emerged in 2018. Sorry, I hit my microphone. That will continue being important in the future. That will give more possibilities for trading on the markets. Now, I don't know how good or bad this particular stablecoin is. It will have to be seen. But it definitely sounds like an interesting one, and stablecoins are another big trend of 2018 and very reassuring for a lot of investors to have the ability to pull out into a stablecoin when the markets are dropping. That is what a lot of investors that are not very willing to take risks really need. So seeing more stablecoins, in my opinion, is a good thing. That will help stabilize the markets as a whole. That will stop bear markets from going quite as bad as quickly in the future. So all power to them. This latest one, we're seeing more and more integration of more and more stablecoin projects, and there's no sign of this stopping anytime soon. And with that, I'm going to end this video because I can barely talk anymore and I can feel the next coughing fit coming. Thanks so much for watching. All the links in the description. If you enjoy my videos, please leave a like and comment. It is incredibly appreciated. That is the difference between one of my videos getting 500 or 1000 views. The real difference is just how many people leave likes and comments. More likes and more comments means YouTube pushes my video like crazy after, and that is so appreciated. Any comment, any like, really appreciated. Probably this will be the last video for 2018, so I wish all of you a wonderful, wonderful start into 2019. Hope you have a wonderful night, hope you don't go too crazy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the new year.